I was intimate with both of you.
Clayton's new trailer of The Bachelor reveals shocking revelations about being intimate with multiple women. Hey guys, and welcome back to another shared news. We have got to break down Clayton's explosive trailer preview for the next season of The Bachelor. But before we get into it, if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you never miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Zachary Reality, joined by the lovely Fiona Zaring and Gabby Gonta. Clayton's season promises to be explosive. Fiona, are you looking forward to his season after seeing this explosive trailer?
I have to say, I wasn't all in on Clayton. Initially, I was a little skeptical, but by the end of this trailer, the producers did a good job, okay? They did hook me a little bit. I gotta see where this goes.
They hooked me as well, but my issue was that I feel like there was so many spoilers if you paid attention to which women they were showing at certain points. So does that make you more excited for the season, Gabby, or less excited because we do have a lot of hints?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like I'm more excited because now I know really who to pay attention to and to kind of follow along the way because I know they're going to get far and I kind of know what happens, but not fully. So I'm excited.
Ooh, Gabby reading the little spoilers? Okay, okay. Well, we have a lot to break down. We're gonna go through the trailer, give our reactions. We do not know spoilers, at least me and Fiona don't. Gabby might know a little bit, but we're not gonna spoil anything for you guys, but we are going to look at the clues and see what we can find. So let's take a look at the first clip, because Clayton is on a journey for love.
I'm a Midwest boy from Missouri that just wants to find love, and I can't wait to get married and have kids.
Okay, it looks like it's gonna be a fun season. I'm excited about this Baywatch date. I mean, how excited are you immediately from this first clip, Fiona? It looks like we have a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous girls.
Yeah, I have to say, this clip got me excited because while I maybe haven't been jumping up and down about Clayton, I do always love the women, and they are so beautiful. It looks like they put together a really great group of girls. It looks like they're going on some really fun dates, and with you, this screams Baywatch. And you know what? That voiceover there, I do believe Clayton. I think he really does, based on the very heavy-handed Bachelor edit they gave him at the last minute. I think he does really want kids. I think he is serious about finding love. So we'll see how it goes.
And I guess that's all that matters. As a lead, you have to be serious about finding the one and hopefully engagement, because we did not get an engagement last year with Matt James. He left with a girlfriend, and then we all know what happened with The Bachelor before that, and The Bachelor before that came out as gay. So I feel like there is a lot of pressure for Clayton to really give us a good season. But I'm also excited that there's going to be some travel this season because we have not had travel the past couple of years. So let's take a look and see where they could possibly be going.
This is crazy.
I believe more than anything that my future wife is here.
This is so cool.
These women are phenomenal at this point.
He's looking for a wife. He's looking for love.
Ooh, this looks fun. It looks like there's some adventure. Gabby, where do you want to see them travel to? If you could pick anywhere in the world, where do you want The Bachelor to go?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would have to say Europe because there's just so much to choose from, so many romantic places to fall in love. And based on those clips, it does look like very European buildings and things like that. I've traveled there a little bit and it definitely looks like that style. So I would have to say England or maybe somewhere more exotic like Prague. This is definitely giving those
Ooh.
vibes. And I think another
Yeah.
shot was Seattle, right? So I don't know if that's maybe like
Yeah.
a hometown if they do go to Europe for most of the travel. So those are my guesses, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited for travel as well because it's been so long and that's one of the best parts of watching The Bachelor. One of the reasons I've always loved it because you can just live simultaneously through them and through their travel journey.
So do you not want to see them go back to Nemacolin, Gabby? Because, I mean, that was a really, really fun spot.
Yeah, yeah, we're done with that now.
And we are. Well, they are going to be starting off at the Bachelor Mansion, and then they'll probably do a little bit of travel in the USA before they head to Europe or Asia. Who knows where they're going? Maybe we'll see a little bit more, but they are going to be traveling the world. So, I mean, it's going to be really, really exciting to see. But let's take a look at some of these women and see if they're really here for Clayton or maybe they're here for other things.
So wholesome and genuine. I just want to be here with you. This is the man I'm gonna spend my life with.
How much luckier can one man get?
I mean, I don't know how much luckier one man can get when there are 30 women. Do you think that Clayton is like eligible enough to be the Bachelor, Fiona? Because we didn't get too much of him on Michelle's season. So do you think all of these women are gonna like know who he is and be really into him right off of the bat?
I wouldn't, and I don't mean that in a harsh way, but like truly, I did not fall in love with Clayton watching Michelle's season, and it's not his fault, but we didn't know him. So I think this will either really play in his favor because the women are going into this, not idolite, like Matt James, for instance, right? Like he was such a force within Bachelor Nation without even ever having been on the program associated with Tyler Cameron. Like those girls were almost fans of his, right? Like they wanted to fall in love with him, but they also put him up on a pedestal. I don't think Clayton's gonna have that. So hopefully it works in his favor. Hopefully it leads to, these girls more genuinely looking at him as a potential husband and potential partner, as opposed to like, ooh, Clayton, the star, of the Bachelor franchise. It actually might be good for him.
That's a really good point because I've always said if Tyler is the Bachelor, these girls are going to be thirsting so hard and they're not going to be able to form a genuine connection with him unless they get like legit supermodels. So I think that that's a really good point that Clayton is an average guy. He's not this big celebrity. I don't even think that Michelle's season started airing. Remember, we found out he was the Bachelor before. So these girls probably didn't even see Michelle's season. So they definitely don't know too much about him. So it's definitely going to be even playing field. And Clayton's a pretty hot guy, so I'm sure they'll be smitten by him. But let's keep on continuing because it's not going to be all fairy tales and rainbows.
I know the one's in here. I know she is.
You literally have everything I'm looking for.
They all are perfect in their own ways.
You are.
This is where it starts to get a little intense. We're halfway through the teaser. The drama is coming. The girls are coming. Gabby, how confident are you that Clayton's going to find love? Because we did see the Good Morning America interview where he did say he found love, and we know in this trailer he's saying he might find love with multiple women, but how confident are you that he's going to find the one and really get engaged and like have it be a thing?
Well, that's a good question because we're still, not at the end of Michelle's season yet, and it seems like she's going to be
True.
in love with multiple people as well because she has such great guys. So I could 100% see Clayton doing the same thing, when you have so many amazing women to choose from, it's hard to just pick one. So I feel like he could either, just really put his blinders on and commit to one girl and like have a great life with her, or we might see another Peter Weber situation where he just can't make a decision and ends up with nobody, which would be so sad because I'm hoping it's the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, the track record's been awful recently. There's been Bachelor couples breaking up left and right. So, I mean, there is a lot of pressure on Michelle and Clayton. And I'm excited for Clayton's season, but I'm also just like, I need to know how Michelle's season ends before I could like fully dive into this. But I mean, this trailer is going to get even crazier. And Gabby, you're right. He is going to fall in love with multiple women. So let's keep watching.
Exactly what I've asked for.
I didn't believe it could happen, but I'm in love with 3 women. I couldn't be more sure that I'm falling in love.
3 women. Fiona, that is a Bachelor first. Ben Higgins said that he was in love with his final 2 women. And then there's probably been a few like I'm falling in love, but 3 women. Clayton is ready to set a record here.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't help but question, right? I don't know Clayton very well, so I'm not trying to put him on blast here. Just from the outside looking in, like, is he sure that he's in love with 3 women, like being fully in love? Because you're right, we've heard the I'm falling for you, right? Like that gets thrown around a lot, and it's so easy to understand how in an environment like this, you could be falling for multiple people, but to be fully 100% in love with 3 women, to me, feels like, how do you even navigate that emotionally? Because the feelings have to be so strong. I mean, as we're going to see, obviously it gets a little rough for him. But the thing that I'm interested with, and we saw him say it to the first girl in that last clip, he's also verbalizing it to them, right? Like he's so confident in these feelings that he's going so far as to share them. So I don't know, this definitely feels like a first. I hope he doesn't, like say it and then realize, shoot, like I just have strong feelings. It's not actually being in love. Because that is really an intense thing to say. I mean, if you really think about it, like that's next level.
I mean, maybe he's just infatuated with 3 women or has strong feelings, but like fully being in love, like I guess we're not in that position, so we don't really know, but it seems a little intense and a little bit more of an infatuation. And maybe the producers are egging him on to say that. I really think that the producers are trying to look for something new every single season, like a new element to add to a season. And I think that this season is going to be all about him falling in love with three women. So I wouldn't be surprised if the producers egged it on a little bit and maybe it's not completely genuine, but we will have to see how it plays out. We can only get so much context from the trailer. But let's keep continuing on because it's gonna get so much more intense, and this is where we're gonna start to see who he's falling in love with. So pay close attention.
I'm falling in love with you.
I'm so excited for like what's to come.
I'm falling in love with you. I am in love with you.
I'm falling in love with you. I am in love with you. Gabby, I don't know if you know the cast list too well, but I mean, do you think you have any favorites yet, or is it just way too soon to tell? Maybe just a brunette or a blonde?
Yeah, the hair color is what I'm looking for, but that doesn't narrow it down very
Yeah.
much because there's so many blonde girls. And after watching this again, actually, I feel like they might be kind of tricking us with the editing a little bit because, they're kind of hyping on the fact that he's falling in love with three women, but we don't know really what week he mentions that. Like, if it's farther down the line in the season, maybe there's 3 women left. Oh, I'm in love with them. But, when he's expressing his love, I am falling for you. I am in love with you. Like that could all be to one girl, like in the very last week or something.
Mm.
So I'm interested exactly how this is going to play out, but I have my eye on these blonde girls for sure.
Yeah, and maybe he's just like kissing these blonde girls, and it's like week 2, and then they're putting in audio from like week 10 because I've seen enough Bachelor trailers to know how these things work, and it's just like it's not gonna be exactly what it seems. But in these next clips, I think we're gonna get even more clues. So let's keep watching because Homeboy is falling in love.
Just want you to know that what I'm about to say is not going to be easy to hear. I want to be fully transparent, and I know it's not.
See, like this clip, for example, we saw these two girls. We're assuming that this conversation with Clayton is happening towards the end, but what if this is a rose ceremony from week 3 and they're like editing in these two girls who are not even making the top 3 and like they're tricking us? Do you think they're capable of doing that, Fiona?
I don't know. This is tough because I actually have watched this exact clip quite a few times trying to like poke holes in it, just like we're doing now. And it's hard because it's not voiceover of Clayton, right? We actually see the words coming out of his mouth with this purple, lighting wherever they are behind him. So it does feel interesting. You know what I mean? It feels like it would be really, really hard for them to be pulling a fast one on us. And actually, this was from a ceremony with a lot of girls. The thing that I'm curious about is also like, how could it not be very close to the end? They don't give them a lot of time to be privately intimate, right? There's no boom boom room for them to run off to like in Paradise. Like this probably had to have happened after Fantasy Suites. So I don't know. I'm feeling pretty certain that these two faces they just showed us full screen, lingered on for a few seconds, are going to make it really, really far. Of course, literally anything is possible. Like we don't know.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna memorize these faces because we don't know the names, but we'll have to look at the cast list after this and start to pair things up if we want to be investigators. I'm like, I don't want to know everything, but I do want to know some stuff so I can like give you guys the tea for the people listening. But we have to like watch the second part of this moment because it's totally a jaw drop.
But I was intimate with both of you.
Done.
Okay, so this girl with the dark hair, and I think we'll see it more in the next clip. I don't think that's the same girl who had the face with the dark hair before. So I kind of think that there's a little bit of editing going on. Gabby, what would you do if the guy you were dating said that he was also in love with someone else? How are you going to react? Are you still going to take the rose, or are you walking off?
That's a good question. So, the problem I have with this clip right here, how Clayton handled the situation, is that he told them both like in front of each other rather than individually sitting down. Because if I was standing next to that girl and we both learned that information at the same time, I would not be happy. I would not be happy in general, but I think that was a poor way to handle it. So, super interesting. I think these girls are definitely ones to watch. But if I was one of these girls and I learned this, I would definitely have to have a talk with Clayton and see where he's at. Um, but I don't know. I mean, if he chose me, then I would probably take it because I obviously like stood out and I'm the one that he would choose in that situation. So I don't know. I probably would.
See, I do think sex is a very important part of a relationship, so I get that Clayton wants to be intimate with multiple women to really find out who his wife is, but I don't think he's handling it correctly by telling them in front of each other. Like if I was one of the girls, I'd probably like want to fight the other girl right in front of him. It would just turn into a whole nother show. It would not be The Bachelor anymore. It would be the Real Housewives or whatever that show is in Miami,
Jerry
like
Springer.
Bad Girls Club. Yeah, it would just turn into something else. Fiona, what would you do if you were one of the two girls? I know you're really classy and polite, but could we get a sassier side of Fiona?
I don't know. I think like kind of how we see these girls running off and crying, I feel like I would need to like run away. I don't think I would want cameras in my face. Like I feel honestly like I would be angry at Clayton, to be honest with you, more I think than the girl standing next to me, because The Bachelor is so difficult. Like you always are going to be sharing, a boyfriend with the roommate that you've become friends with. Like it's already such a mental, chaos. What I feel like would hurt me the most is the betrayal from the guy that I've put myself into this abstract, bizarre, mentally draining scenario to try to fight for, kind of like bomb dropping me and letting me know that while we shared a really special moment, he also shared that kind of special moment with another girl, something that I think you're always kind of aware is a possibility. But to drop it on them at a rose ceremony feels tough. It feels like it should have been a sit down conversation, give the girls time to process. Don't reveal it and then potentially break one of their hearts. You know what I mean? That feels like a double whammy. Like, hey, I slept with both of you, and also brunette or blonde, see you later. No thanks. Like, feels very harsh
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, well, a Fiona meltdown on The Bachelor with cameras following you would be iconic. If you were like, get out of my face, like that would be amazing TV. I think that he probably sends home the third girl at the rose ceremony and then tells these final two then before he like brings the final two to like meet his
Ooh.
family, because he must have slept with them in the fantasy suites unless there's a windmill like anywhere around, because we know, stuff usually goes down in windmills on The Bachelor. So that's what I think is gonna happen, and I mean, the drama it's gonna continue. If you guys saw the trailer already, you know it's coming. If you have not, let's keep watching.
I've never felt pain like this before.
Actual.
See, Fiona, that would be you. You would be on the ground crying. And then I don't know what the other girl is doing, but this girl, it looks like she's the blonde. She is in tears. Do you think she wants to talk to Clayton? Like, that's the thing. Do you think she wants to talk to Clayton before the other girl does or after? Because he's going to have like one-on-one conversations with both of them.
Yeah, I don't know, because to be honest with you, this is all so complicated. Like, if this is post fantasy suites, right? Which, like, everything is pointing to the fact that it probably is. And I do think you're onto something. It feels like he probably sent somebody home and then revealed this to them, did it a little bit kind of backwards. Then it is kind of fair game to be intimate in the fantasy suites. I don't know. Like, I'm curious if these tiers are some creative editing. Like, is it, they found out the news from each other and had a meltdown pre-rose ceremony and he then had to confess to them? Like, I'm kind of curious about the timeline here a little bit. When did these tiers happen? And these shots are so dark too, by the way, that I feel like they definitely could be doing something tricky here. I don't know. But yes, I think that would be me. I think I would be on the ground crying.
I think we're missing like a little bit of context, like you were saying, because
Of course.
maybe if one of these girls had said, I don't want you to be intimate with the other girl, that would make it a much bigger deal. If he did, because otherwise, like you said, it's kind of fair game to do that. So maybe that's kind of the setup that makes them so upset. But I do just want to pause on this frame right here really quick, because I noticed that our blonde friend is also missing one of her fake nails in this shot. And I feel
Oh,
like that's why I
no.
would probably also be having a breakdown. So she's just going through it and I feel for her.
Gabby, it's because there was a girl fight and one of the other girl ripped her nail off because she was so mad that she slept with Clayton. But Fiona, to bring back to your point about it being dark, I do think it's at night, but I also think they're probably just darkening the frames so we don't see the face because that would like really give it away if these hairstyles aren't giving it away enough already. And this is not the first time a lead has slept with more than one person during their season. Caitlin Bristow has slept with multiple guys during her season, as well as Hannah Brown. So it's not the first time, but it is the first time that they like announce it to everyone, especially while the cameras are rolling. Usually that information is discussed at after the final rose, or just like in a tell-all book, or just like an interview after. It's never been revealed on the rose ceremony. So this is groundbreaking Bachelor Nation history that is about to form. So brace yourselves for The Bachelor 2022, and we have 2 more clips to go through. So let's take a look.
He's in love with all 3 of us.
I'm so broken.
Oh, shut up. You're so broken. Give me a break. The girls are the ones that are going through it. I have no sympathy for Clayton. Like, if he's gonna play victim in this situation, when there's 3 girls that he just fell in love with and then dumped them, like, goodbye. Like, no time for that. Gabby, what is your reaction?
Yeah, I think the same. I mean, I can't imagine the emotions that he's going through, but I mean, weird to use the word broken because like you said, I feel like the girls are broken and he's just confused.
Yeah, he's just, and why can't we find a bachelor that is like, that knows what they want? Like, Clayton's 28 years old, which is like, I guess, old enough to be the bachelor. Like, we've had younger bachelors, but it's like, just give us a 34-year-old man that actually knows what he wants and like can actually propose. But then at the same time, like, I live for this drama and like, this is what I want to see on TV. So it's like a balance. I go back and forth. Fiona, what do you think about this scene?
Well, this is interesting, right? Because the audio we just heard from a girl crying at some point, right? Whether it's the girl they showed or some other time, is someone now saying he's in love with all 3 of us. So they're kind of making it seem like it's all in the same night, all in the same moment. But of course, when he revealed he was intimate, it was just with 2 women. Now he's talking, or now she's talking about 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if the girls are crying potentially over the news that he feels equally in love with all of them, because I think that one of the things that keeps you going as a contestant on the series, of course I've never been one, so this is an inference, but is like there's something special between you and the lead. Like, yes, the others have their relationship, but you guys are connecting in a different level, or your relationship has maybe progressed ahead of the others. So it may be very heartbreaking at this final stage, post fantasy suites or pre fantasy suites, to find out that he's in love with all 3 of you equally. Intimate, non-intimate, right? Like, he is in love with everyone and you're not special.
Everyone.
Maybe that's where the tears came from.
Yeah, and I wonder if the girls are talking and comparing notes, because I know that they usually do in the beginning on their dates. They're like, oh, this is what happened, this is what happened. But towards the end, there always ends up being animosity between the final 2, final 3, sometimes final 4, because the feelings just get so real. So I don't know how close of friends these girls are, if they were rooming together. Maybe they were rivals throughout the entire season. But I think that will be an element and play a part into this too, because it's like, is your best friend falling in love with him, or is it your arch enemy? It would add a different dynamic. So we have one last clip, and it's gonna get even crazier, and then we have to predict our final thoughts on what's to come. Okay, I mean, this gives us some clarification that at least he has a ring, and it's only one. I think if you would have had to tell me based on all the women, I would have guessed he would have had 2 rings or maybe 3, since he's so in love with everyone. But he has a ring. He's looking at it very confusingly. Fiona, does this seem promising? Is he getting engaged?
No. I mean, it doesn't. I think, honestly, I do feel like they are really going to push and will be pushing him behind the scenes, all season when they were shooting to get engaged. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does get down on a knee. They really need him to. But if you're in love with 3 women, right, and you send one of them packing, but you're still in love with 2 women, and you're looking at an engagement ring trying to decide, which woman it's going to, I don't love that. Like, I feel like when you pick out a ring, you should be picking it out for the one. So
For
if he's
me,
still, and I'm
yeah.
I'm inferring literally just based on the look on his face, but if he's still debating engagement ring in hand, I don't think that's a good omen.
Not at all. And I know it's The Bachelor, but if you're going to propose to me, whoever is, like, you're paying for that ring. You're not getting it for free. So that's like another issue I have about this show and the engagements. But Gabby, what are your final thoughts of the trailer and how do you think it's going to rank in comparison to other Bachelor seasons, especially in the last couple of years?
Well, I think it's definitely going to stand out. Like we've said, the last few seasons haven't been great, so Clayton has some big shoes to fill, some high standards, but I think he's going to get there because it seems like the producers are really pushing some dramatics, some interesting things to watch, and I kind of like that they sort of gave us how the ending is going to happen a little bit because like I want to watch till the end now. And so, whereas some people
Yeah.
might start watching the first few episodes and like if he's boring or not into it, they might fall off, drop off, stop watching. But, they basically said the good stuff happens at the end, so stick with us, stay for all of it. And you'll be pleasantly surprised. So I am, looking forward to watching the whole season, seeing exactly what happens. And, I hope he does end up with the one perfect girl and we can have a success story come out of The Bachelor, even for just a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely seems promising. I'm very excited. I don't want to know spoilers, but I'm sure it's inevitable. We'll all find them out here with time and whatever. But we want to hear from you guys. What are you most looking forward to seeing on Clayton's season? What do you think of the trailer? How do we think it will compare to Matt's season, Peter's season? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell because we will be back to cover Clayton's season after the new year. And as always, I am your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Fiona Zaring and Gabby Gonta. Our social media handles are on the screen right now. Give us a follow, come say hello, let us know your predictions, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.